What's up, everyone? You are watching AHD Toys. I just want to tell you, it's morphin' time.
What's going on, everyone? Anthony here with AHD Toys, and welcome back to another video. If you're new to this channel, welcome. This is my little corner of the internet where I like to review and talk about action figures. Marvel Legends series, Star Wars Black series, maybe the occasional WWE figures, but my main focus is the Hasbro's Power Rangers Lightning Collection action figures. It is the one line from Hasbro that I will collect every single figure of, whether it be from the single figure waves, the versus packs, the monster packs, the con exclusives, the store exclusives, the online exclusives, the fan channel exclusives, whatever it is, I will collect it. It is just one of those things that's very near and dear to my heart. Power Rangers is something I've taken from childhood into adulthood because it makes me happy. We all have that one thing that makes us happy, where it just brings us back to simpler times. And let's face it, with 2020, we all need that one thing that makes us happy. And for me, that's the Power Rangers Lightning Collection action figures. So if that's something that piques your interest, please consider hitting that subscribe button and hitting that notification bells to get notifications on all my review videos. Now, with that being said, this is not a review video. This is my top 10 favorite Power Rangers Lightning Collection action figures of 2020. Obviously, we've had a lot of figures this year. Well, not as many as Marvel Legends or the Star Wars Black series, but still a good amount for a brand new line. We had 2 brand new monsters, 2 versus packs, so that's 4 figures right there, 4 waves of 4 figures in each waves, and 10 exclusives, ranging from Hasbro Pulse exclusives, Walgreens exclusives, Con exclusives, GameStop exclusives, and Walmart exclusives, and what have you. I have them all. I don't have them all out here, but I do have them all, and I will be ranking them from my 10th favorite all the way to my first favorite. So what do you say, me and my co-judge karate businessman Tommy here, go ahead and start this countdown. Alright guys, before I start this countdown video, I want to give a quick rundown on the criteria that these figures needed to meet in order to make my personal top 10 figures list. The first of those being paint applications. Now I know this is a sub $20 toy line and they can't paint everything to perfection like a Morpher or something. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like the details that they obviously omitted for price or chose wrong because for whatever reason they didn't know. Next up will be head sculpts and how much they resemble their in real life actor counterparts. Now this is obviously going to vary person to person. Everyone is very opinionated on what these figures should look like. Now, these are a sub $20 toy line, so there is a threshold of forgiveness that I give these figures, but there are some head sculpts that are just, what were they thinking? And then there are some head sculpts like this one where it's damn near perfect, in my opinion, for a $20 toy line. Next up will be price. Yes, this is a $20 toy line, but there are figures in this line that are up there in price, whether it be because they came with more accessories, or they're store exclusives, or they're bigger. So that is going to play a factor in this. So with that being said, I want to give an honorable mention to these 2 figures that almost made the list, but just wasn't quite there for whatever reason. First of those being the Target exclusive Dino Charge Black. Now, in my opinion, this was a very great figure, and the only things that kept it from being on the top 10 list was the fact that they're missing paint details that was there on the Dino Thunder Red figure. Dino Charge Red figure, I'm sorry. Let's say like the painted gloves wasn't there. I had to add the paint for that. And that the Morpher, yes, I know I said the Morpher doesn't matter to me, but if they already done it right once, why can't they do it right again? Now, obviously, mine is fixed. Mine is the black outline with the silver dinosaur. It was originally a silver outline with a black dinosaur. So I don't know what happened in manufacturing, but they got this guy completely wrong, and that just kept him from edging up on the top 10. Okay, and then the last figure to get an honorable mention would be the Wave 7 Tommy. Now, this one's probably going to be a bit controversial. It is only not on there because it is missing the white diamond paint. And yes, a lot of you guys are going to say it doesn't matter. It's $20 toy line. You're not going to see it anyways. But the thing is, they've already done it. They put the white diamond on another $20 Tommy, and they had to add silver paint to that one. This one doesn't, but they still didn't do it. Now, I don't know if most of the budget went into this head sculpt or if it was meant to make this more gold than the last one. I talk about all of that in my review video that I just posted a little while ago, so I'll leave a link to that right here. So I'm just going to say those were the reasons that kept this figure from being number 10 possibly or higher. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start this countdown video. Number 10 will be the Comic-Con exclusive / Hasbro PulseCon exclusive Lord Drakkon Evo III. Now this was an amazing figure. It was probably one of those figures that the fans, or at least fans of the Boom Studio comics, really wanted for a long time. I mean, it has a removable cape, it comes with a bunch of awesome accessories, cracked helmets, a little stand for the helmets to sit on, an amazing head sculpt in my opinion. And look at that, the details on the veins, the white throughout the hair, the likeness to Jason David Frank of a more weathered, older, beat down Tommy. And then the most important accessory of all, the removable Saba head, which is awesome in my opinion. Now, the only thing that kept this figure from being higher in this list was because of the price point it was. Now, I know a lot of you saying it's a con exclusive, it's $50. Personally, I don't feel the $50 covers the extra helmets. That helmets, by the way, we've already gotten. So it wasn't new molds that they had to produce. At the point of this release, we had already gotten all the original 6 team member helmets at one point or another. So they didn't have to make a new helmet and then paint crack lines on them. They just took existing helmets and painted crack lines and charged $50 for this figure. And personally, I think that was way too much. If you think of the previous year Comic-Con exclusive, that was $50 as well. But it came with 2 figures and a buttload of accessories. It came with the Power Blaster before we even knew the Power Blaster could be combined. So if this would have came with a throne and the helmets, I think that would have been a perfect price point for $50 and would have been much, much higher on this list. But $50 for 1 figures and a bunch of reissue helmets just wasn't cutting it for me. I still love the figure overall. The shield is great. The helmet sculpt is great. The head sculpt is great. The only thing that kind of bothers me are the holes in the back for where the cape pegs in, but not too big of a deal. So yes, that will be number 10. Okay, number 9 for me will be the Monster Collection King Sphinx. Now, I know a lot of people had an issue with the size of this figure and how out of scale he was with the Rangers. Yes, he is out of scale based off the show. But in my personal opinion, I figure if you're going to fight a baddie of the week, the monster of the week, and you need superpowers to fight him, he needs to be bigger than you, right? Like, I get it, he's out of scale or whatever, and yeah, it doesn't match up, but I personally feel like a monster should be towering over these humans, and these humans need special powers to fight him. So I feel like this size is perfect. Now, the downfall of that is being he is way out of scale with Goldar, and I feel like, no, I know Hasbro is going to find a way to release a deluxe scale Goldar. You can quote me on that right here, right now. So the things that kept it from being higher on this list would be, 1, the wings. If you watched my review video, these wings aren't the best. These pegs, in my opinion, are way too, like the inside pegs is way too small to support wings this big. And then I also had a lot of difficulties porting mine in, and I know I wasn't the only one. I know a lot of people on the forums were having troubles porting it in, and then when they thought they were in and they tried to articulate them, they would just pop right out. I had that issue. What I ended up having to do was I had to get like a hair dryer, heat it up, and push it in a lot further. So now I can articulate them. They're definitely better than the Goldars, but I still think they should make these pegs a lot bigger. The articulated tail is very nice, but yeah. And then another thing that kept it from being higher on the list is the infamous no black nose. It is such a small detail that they could have just dap, dap, dap. This literally took me 10 seconds with a paint marker and it made it look amazing. I can kind of forgive the mouth. That was a hard one to paint. But for a $30 figure, and it doesn't come with a lot of accessories, I feel like a little dollop of black on the nose would have went a very long way. So yeah, that is number 9. So number 8 for me will be the original Yellow Ranger, Trini. Now this is a pretty bare bones figure, and it's so high on the list. You guys are probably wondering why. She doesn't come with very many accessories. She comes with her 2 daggers, obviously. She only comes with a open blaster right here instead of a closed blaster. That's basically it. So the only thing that pushed this so far up was the head sculpt. I personally think this resembles Tran like perfectly. for a $20 figure. I mean, this is the type of head sculpts that I thought we were going to get, but, you know, then we got one like Kimberly, and it's like, what happened there? But that's neither here nor there. I think this is a perfect resemblance, and it's such a great way to immortalize her in this franchise that it just had to be pretty far up there, and for sure on my top 10 list. So yeah, great figure. Alright guys, so number 7 for me is going to be the Time Force Red Ranger. Now this is a great figure, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is the first time they opted to use a skinnier body mold for these figures, and I thought this was going to be the body mold they would use throughout for the rest of the figures, but it kind of looks like they switched back and forth between this skinnier version and like a beefier version. If you're unaware of what I mean or didn't know, there are 2 different body molds. So as you can see here, this one is clearly a lot thinner than Andros. Andros looks swole, like he has been hitting the gym hardcore. He's definitely wider as well, going this way as well as going this way. So yeah, you could definitely see there. So I thought this was going to be the choice going on, and honestly the only reason he didn't make this top 10 list was because they opted to use for the wider body. He just, I don't know, I don't think Andros should be this big in my opinion. Anyways, yeah, I believe this was the first time they used it. I could be wrong. Somebody let me know if it was a different figure that used it, but I love this skinnier body mold. I think it just looks more screen accurate because, you know, the Power Rangers aren't super jacked up like they're The Rock or something. This one comes with some great accessories. It comes with this thumbs up hand sculpt, which is, I believe, the first time we've seen that, and I don't think we've seen it with any other Rangers. He does come with his little time blaster right here, and then his blades. I love the clear translucent plastic that they used, and then on top of that they do combined as well, so that definitely helped it move him up on this list. And then obviously his head sculpt isn't super great, but is, in my opinion, very close to him. This, I feel like, resembles Jason Font from his time on Time Force. Okay, number 6 for me is going to be Beast Morphers Blaze. And in my opinion, this is probably one of, if not the most underrated figure in the entire line. I mean, come on, look at this helmet sculpt. The details that they put into this for a villain, which is probably just supposed to be a filler for like kids who just wanted their Power Rangers to have a bad guy to fight. I felt like they put a lot of details into this. The accessories he comes with is his sword and this case, which honestly is the reason they brought him up so high on this list, was the fact that, I mean, come on, look at this. This is such an awesome accessories. I love these accessories. We need more accessories like these over the actual lightning effects, in my opinion. And then, of course, we have his head sculpt, which I think they straight up nailed his likeness. So yeah, a little bit of a cross-eyed going on my figure. Not too bad, just during certain angles. But yeah, great head sculpt, great details on this figure alone. Honestly, the only reason he wasn't a tad bit higher on here, it's going to be a small nitpick, but I did not like the fact that this red kind of shows on the silver. I know, weird nitpick, but that's just my reasoning for him being number 6 and not on the top 5. Okay, number 5 for me is going to be, once again, Tommy Oliver. And the reason this one was top 5 instead of bottom 5 is because they went back and fixed a lot of the issues that they had with Zeo Ranger 3. One of those being, instead of the white outline around their visors, they had a silver outline around the visors for whatever reason. Even though they showed white on all the promotional pictures that they posted, it ended up being silver. He didn't come with his weapons. His head sculpt was terrible, in my opinion. So with the Zeo Ranger 5, they got it correct. If it'll focus again. They have the white outline. They gave him his weapon, his little Star Saber here. That's a great touch. And the head sculpt is probably, in my opinion, of really, if not the best Tommy head sculpt we've gotten. I know a lot of people are saying he kind of looks like his brother or whatever, but I mean, come on, they're brothers. They're supposed to look alike. So this could be used as a his brother head sculpt if you just wanted to display him like that. So I think that's kind of works out 2 ways for one, and another reason why he made it to the top 5. Number 4 is going to be the Red SPD Ranger Jack. Now, this is such an amazing figure. They fixed the SPD Morpher right here, that they had the button on the wrong side for the Shadow Ranger. They have a molded on SPD badge. They could have easily just painted this on like another figure, but they opted to mold this in. So where like this shoulder joint is specific to only these Ranger figures. So that I find is such an amazing detail. They got the line going back there. The helmet looks amazing. And then the thing that really pushed him to number 4 over number 5 is his combining weapon. So you do have his 2 standard blasters right there. Or if you wanted to, obviously, as you saw, you can port them into each other to make the blaster right here. I find combining weapons very, very awesome, and that they should include it when and if all that possible. So yes. And then the civilian head sculpt right here, I think also, once again, it's not perfect, but it definitely resembles Jack. They got the dreadlocks, so perfect, which is wondering why they didn't really nail it with the Wave, what is it, 6 MMPR Black Ranger. His dreads just looked horrible. So I know they can do dreads. Yeah, number 4, great figure. All right, guys, here we are, home stretch, top 3. And this one came in as a surprise for me, and that is going to be the Metallic Armor Pink Ranger, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive that literally just came out, and I just uploaded the review video. In fact, it is my current video short of this one. And honestly, the only reason this thing is so high is because I love the clear translucent plastic that they use to make the metallic armor effect, because it does have the metallic sparkles embedded into the plastic. I'm glad they just didn't spray like a metallic paint over it. I felt like that would have just been the cheap way out. But no, they opted to choose a more expensive plastic to do this exclusive figure, and I love that. And the pearlescent colors for the white that they chose looks amazing. See, this is that metallic paint I was talking about. They could have just used and called it metallic armor. But I love this more. I love that it's clear. I love that it's almost see-through. It just looks overall amazing. The head sculpt for Catherine Sutherland looks great. They really nailed her iconic smile, in my opinion. And it's so great to finally have a Catherine head sculpt in this line. But the one thing that really pushed this over the edge was the Zeo crystal here. It's such a small accessory to include that they really didn't have to include it with this figure, at least. But they did. And a bonus, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it, it glows in the dark. If you guys follow my Instagram, you guys know very well. I don't know if I can get it dark enough in here. Let me go see if I can turn off the lights real quick. All right, yeah, I don't think my camera's going to pick it up, but if you guys want to check it out, it is on my community board wall on YouTube that this does glow in the dark. So yes, based off the head sculpt, the clear plastic, and the glow-in-the-dark Zeo crystal, and the Zeo crystal itself, this is why this was number 3 on my list. Now, number 2 on my list is going to be the Amazon exclusive SPD Omega Ranger. This is such an awesome figure, and the fact that it comes with a unicycle is such an added bonus. Yes, this was $29.99, but if you're aware like me and realize what Amazon does with their exclusive, they eventually always put them on sale. Like as of this recording, during the last Black Friday Cyber Monday sale, this went from $29.99 to $20.99. So for $21, getting this figure and this unicycle is a complete steal. So that, and the fact that he has this movable morpher that they did not have to add to get him his iconic charging pose to blast out right here, which I think is another reason why this is so high on the list. They could have easily just given us the Psycho Ranger hands, and we would have probably never been none the wiser, but they went that extra mile and gave him his little dots on this glove specific to the Omega Ranger. So for those qualities alone, that is the reason why this figure is number 2 on my list. So the moment you've all been waiting for is now here. My number 1 pick for the top 10 Power Rangers Lightning Collection action figures of 2020. And that figure is the Walgreens exclusive Dino Thunder White. Now, if you're unaware and you're new to collecting this line and not sure what all the fuss is about, this figure had a lot of controversy when it first got leaked over in Indonesia, I believe. When it hit the comic stores over there, he was being sold without the black helmet visor painting. So yeah, so a lot of people, when it was released, thought, okay, well, maybe when it hits the States, they'll have it fixed. Because when it leaked, they had no mention of this figure whatsoever. No press photos, no Fan First Friday, no Fan First Monday, no Fan First Tuesday, nothing. It literally just showed up in Indonesia at a comic book store, and people flipped out. They didn't think it was real. They weren't sure if it was like some fake or something customized, but then somebody sent a picture of like a whole stack of them in that comic store, and people were like, okay, well, maybe when it reaches the state and they make an announcement, it'll finally have the helmet fixed. And I'm not sure when. It was like maybe a month later. Somebody in Chicago randomly just found one in a Walgreens. No mentions, no Fan First Fridays, nothing. He just found it in a Walgreens and it was missing the paint. And then people were it was starting to slowly trickle out, and people started finding them and still nothing. And then out of the blue, I think it was a Fan First Tuesday, they finally announced that they were going to issue a recall. Not really a recall. So if you could prove that you bought this figure, they would send you a free, 100% free replacement helmet with the correct paint apps. As you can see here, this is it. They would send you as many figures as you had. If you had two, like obviously me, they sent me two. No charge, no shipping, nothing. It did some people got it within like a few days. Some people like me, it took almost 2 months for me to finally get mine. But with that being said, because they opted to do that, it had to be my number one pick, because with that helmet on, this figure is phenomenal. They have the raised details right here on his shield, and it does go all the way back, unlike the Bandai one where they just kind of cut it right there and it was all flat. They painted it. Obviously, they were missing some small paint details right here besides the black helmet visor. They missed the black on here that I had to add. They missed the black outline in here. They didn't have the small black dots in here. I added that. They didn't have the silver outline. Obviously, you could tell I did all that. But overall, the details on this figure, the small details like this right here, the fact that this Drago sword is open and this head is facing the correct way is a plus in my book. So if you're unfamiliar with this character, when his Drago sword is down, the short version, his head is twisted 180 and it's supposed to be on the other side. And with the promotional shots on the back, they have it wrong. But it looks like they might have caught it beforehand and fixed it before they sent these out, which I don't know why they didn't catch this, but whatever. They fixed this. This is correct. Overall, such a great figure. So another reason he's number one is his head sculpt. And I think this looks like Jeffrey Perez really, really well. I know a lot of people are saying it looks like Fez, and I can kind of see that. But overall, I still think this resembles Jeffrey a lot more than Fez. And that, combined with the recalled helmet, the great details on here, the shield, this had to be my number one pick for 2020. So great job on that, Hasbro. Alright guys, if you made it this far into the videos, I just want to say thank you so much for listening to my opinions on what I felt were the top 10 Power Rangers Lightning Collection figures in 2020. Now once again, these were just my personal opinions on the criteria I felt these figures need to meet to be in that top 10. So please don't be mad at me if your figures weren't higher up on the list or if they didn't make the list at all. Let me know in the comments down below if I was pretty close to your list or if I was completely wrong. And let me know what your top 10 figures are. Let's have a conversation. So if you like what you saw today, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell to make sure you get all notifications on my upcoming review videos coming into 2021. I hope everyone has a great New Year's. And as always, until next time guys, later.